Today, we have Lara Trump. She's a senior advisor to the Trump campaign. She is a fabulous surrogate for our president, and she is working tirelessly. She was telling us she was 11 p.m. last night. She was on the TV, and look where she is today, all day, until she heads back to New York at night. So, as you may know, Laura's from North Carolina, grew up in Wilmington. She's married to Donald's son, Cary. They have two beautiful children, and very young children. And she attended NC State, and we don't agree on everything. And she was actually cast by the president, I believe, she'll correct me if I'm wrong, to bring home the state for the GOP in 2010. So without any further hesitation, I would like to invite Laura to the stage.
For 4 more years of Dr. Trump. That would be amazing. Well, I am always excited to come back to this incredible state. I think the best state in the country, North Carolina, right? I love this state so much that I actually named my daughter Carolina. If you guys don't know that. And I am a fellow Wolfpacker. Any Wolfpack in this room? The rest of y'all are okay to stay too, it's fine. And you know all my friends, I told somebody this earlier, all of my friends who went to UNC growing up are like, well, we know you named your daughter after UNC, right? No, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's for the state of North Carolina. It's so incredible to be here. Thank you guys for having me. I love any excuse to come back to my home state. And guys, we are officially in it. The campaign season has started. 2020 is underway. We are rolling, and it is happening every single day. And you know it's getting good because how crazy do the Democrats look? Oh my gosh, guys. Can we just talk for a quick second about the fact that the person that they had at the top of every single poll was Joe Biden? Not too long ago, but you kind of feel sad for Joe Biden. Like at some point, somebody needs to pull him aside and be like, Joe, it's over. It's enough. And that's who we were supposed to be scared of. Now, we see who is emerging as the front runner of the Democrat Party, a self-proclaimed socialist. For anyone in this room that has any question about what socialism would do to this incredible country, look no further than Venezuela. Once one of the richest countries in the world, prospering beyond belief, the envy of so many other places, now a few short years later, under socialism, it is completely destroyed. And don't let Bernie Sanders fool you for 1 second, because the socialism he's talking about is not like the socialism they have in Denmark or the Scandinavian countries. It is the socialism of Fidel Castro's Cuba, which we know Bernie Sanders now apparently is a big fan of after his interview the other night. The USSR, China, Venezuela, that could happen in this country, and it is terrifying. That is why every single day from now until November 3rd, none of us in this room, and I'm including everybody, nobody's resting, right? Because we cannot leave this one to chance, folks. It's too important. So I'll back up for a second, because you are correct. I was tasked in 2016 with winning the state of North Carolina for my father-in-law. Now let's back up for a second. Who in this room remembers the famous escalator ride, right? Was anybody on board from the escalator ride day? Amazing. Thank you guys for the incredible support. So you remember that day, even then, from the very beginning, the media was discounting Donald Trump. Remember they said this is a publicity stunt. He's announcing a new season of The Apprentice. That's what's about to happen right now, right? Whenever he literally was coming down to try and save our country. So they didn't take him seriously at first, and I'm sure everyone in this room remembers how 2016 went. It's amazing that was 4 years ago, right? It went pretty quick. 17 incredible Republican candidates, and every week something would happen and they would try and take him down. And in the very beginning, we were all really green. We were like, oh, this is it. It was a good run. It's over now. The media's got him. But they never got Donald Trump, right? At the very end, the one left standing, the one they never thought had a chance was Donald Trump. And then you guys remember, leading up to Election Day, literally the day before Election Day, all the polls said that Hillary Clinton was going to be the next president of the United States, right? The polls have never been right when it comes to Donald Trump, ever. I think they're even more wrong now than they even were in 2016. So I hate to tell you guys, I was a member of the fake news media. Before, I know. I wasn't that bad though. I was a producer with Inside Edition. I moved from North Carolina in 2007 to go to culinary school. I have probably had 100 different jobs. Worked in television as a producer for 5 years with Inside Edition. And in 2016, in August, my father-in-law was coming down to North Carolina, going to Wilmington, to my hometown, for a rally. So I decided to come down with him. And one thing led to another, and in only the way that Donald Trump could do. And just so you know, when you're talking to him, and he's really taking it in, he kind of like leans back and listens to you, and he was doing that when he's asking me these questions about, well, what do you think we need to do in North Carolina? You're from here. What does everybody in this state think of X, Y, and Z? And he kind of leaned back, and I was like, oh no, he's really taking this seriously. I don't know what's happening. Next thing, he looks at me and he goes, how about, I want to put you in charge of winning North Carolina. Could you do that for me? Could you do North Carolina? Guys, North Carolina, okay? Hillary Clinton said this was her firewall. This was it for her. She was winning this state. Nobody was taking it away from her. So he tasked me with winning North Carolina. I want to remind everyone in this room, I never had any prior political experience, had no idea what to do in terms of running a campaign, how it operated. I had nothing. So I called my husband as soon as this conversation ended. Thank you very much. I'll take charge of North Carolina. I called my husband and I was like, I don't know what just happened, but I think I'm in charge of winning North Carolina. So he said, you better go into work tomorrow and take a leave of absence, which I did. And I got out on the road with an incredible group of women, and we traveled not only in this state, but all across this country, and we saw something amazing happening in 2016. We would be here in North Carolina, in Ohio, Florida, Wisconsin, Iowa, and the crowds of people that would come out for us were incredible. But not just that. The people that would come up to us and say things like, I am a Democrat for my entire life and I'm voting for Donald Trump. I've never voted in a single election and I'm voting for Donald Trump. We had heard it everywhere we went, every single day. And so we said, something is going on out there, but the media isn't reporting it. We would go back home to New York, change the clothes in our bag. The one day a week we were there and we turned on the TV, and of course the media was tearing Donald Trump apart. There's no way he can win. He's crazy to think that he's got a shot at this. He has no path to victory. And we were like, oh my gosh. But then we get back out there on the road. The media missed it in 2016, and somehow, I can tell you right now, they're going to miss a lot in this election because they don't know yet. The folks were taking back the House this year, right? So fast forward to November 8th, Election Day. Anybody remember that day? It's a pretty good one. Happens to be my wedding anniversary, by the way. Oh yeah, it was very romantic. Very. So we were all in what we call the war room at Trump Tower. So we had this room that had TV screens all over the room, and we were all there watching the campaign team, the family. We're all gathered around watching the results come in. And I'll let you guys in on a little secret. We had it on CNN. But only because because he knew if CNN called the state, it was real, right? Fox was calling him early. So we said, we're going to tune into CNN because when they call it, that's the real thing. So we're watching, and they're calling all these states, Ohio, Donald Trump wins Ohio, and Iowa, this and that. I'm like, oh my God, where is North Carolina? And I was freaking out and sweating, and Bethany, who is incredible over here, happened to be in the state in 2016. I was probably texting her, everybody else here on the ground. And then finally, it's like they waited till the very end. Donald Trump wins North Carolina, right? I know y'all were proud of that too. And I'll never forget what happened next, because my father-in-law was sitting right in front of me. He turned around and he looked at me and he said, I won because of you. Well, now let's be honest here. The alternative was unthinkable, right? Much better candidate, much better vision for the country, but that's how Donald Trump is. He has never let me forget what we did here in this state. Everywhere I go with him, whenever he introduces me to people, show me the state of North Carolina. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I'll take it. Now, you know we gotta do it again, guys, right? I'm not kidding you. Every time, it's been a while since I've seen my father-in-law, he always asks me first, he wants to know how my kids are. How are those beautiful grandbabies? How the kids are doing. And then the second question is, how are we doing in North Carolina? So let me hear from you guys. How are we doing in North Carolina? Trump supporter out there, right? But that's something that we all have to keep in mind. See, they wouldn't be trying to stop Donald Trump if he was losing. They're trying to stop him because he's winning every day, folks. That's why. Anybody in this room tired of winning yet? No. Didn't think so. He said he would get so tired of winning, though. It hasn't happened, right? You're not tired of winning yet. They have been trying to take this man down since day one. Because let me remind everybody in this room of something. Donald Trump didn't need this job, right? Did not need to become president. Everybody knew who Donald Trump was. He had a very successful history, built an empire, a real estate empire on The Apprentice. Everybody around the world knew who Donald Trump was. The media loved Donald Trump. Hollywood loved Donald Trump. But he got as fed up as we all did with what was happening in this country. He kept seeing how we were being left behind and how we were being misrepresented around the world. How the American dream in this country was slipping away from people. How we were paying $150 billion to countries that hated us while our veterans were dying waiting in line for appointments at the VA. And he got sick and tired of it like we all did. He said, we're going to need somebody to run this country that doesn't need the job. That's why he decided to do this. I remember, do you guys remember the shrimp on a treadmill? Do you remember this from like 8 or 10 years ago? Let me tell you something, that one really irritated him. I don't know how much money the government spent on whatever that was supposed to be, but there was a video that kept playing on the news of a shrimp running on a treadmill. For months I heard him talk about this. And I was like, gosh, he's really upset by this. That's the kind of wasteful spending that he said, if I ever got a chance, we're getting rid of that. We're putting the money where it counts. We are rebuilding our military, right? We're putting the money where it matters to the people of this country. But he was sick and tired of it, and he knew that somebody had to step up to the plate. And you see, he represents a very real threat to the swamp in Washington, D.C. Because he doesn't need a single one of them. He's not playing their game. He's doing what's right for the American people instead of letting everybody line their pockets and get by with the same old they've been doing for too long. He's holding them accountable, and he's making them put their money where their mouth is. And they don't like it one single bit, right? That's why we love him, though, right? So day one, Inauguration Day, the Washington Post comes out with an article about impeaching Donald Trump. Don't be fooled, folks. They thought that there was no chance that Donald Trump was going to get elected, but if on the off chance this country spoke up and said, We're done with the old way. We want somebody new. We want somebody that's speaking for the American people and standing up for us once again. They were going to have a backup plan that was called Russian collusion, right? Okay, let me tell you something. We could not have colluded with North Carolina, okay, let alone Russia. When they came out with this cockamamie idea that Donald Trump had somehow colluded with Russia to win in 2016, we were all so taken aback by it because it was such a ridiculous idea. Yet, of course, what did they do? The media grabbed onto it. That's how we won. It wasn't because the American people wanted Donald Trump. It's because Russia helped him. Well, don't worry. $30 million of taxpayer money, 2 years of all of our time to finally find out at the end of the Mueller report, Donald Trump and our campaign did not collude with Russia to win. We won because of everybody in this room, right? I mean, and how insulting to every single person that voted for Donald Trump to say that their vote didn't count, that Russia was the reason he won. Then that didn't work for them. I know they were so upset with that. So what did they do? Ukraine phone call. We got it now. Okay, let's be very clear about something. The call with Ukraine had nothing to do with anything other than the results of the election on November 8th of 2016, right? They were so mad that he won, that Russian collusion didn't stick. So they said, you know what, we're going to try and impeach the president. Well, I got news for them. The Senate acquitted him. So that's that, right? And also, information for Nancy Pelosi, our fundraising has gone through the roof and is still at a sky-high level that she calls for impeachment. The American people love this president. They know he did nothing wrong. I actually just heard last night that apparently Eric Swalwell is trying to drag back up Russia collusion. But this shows you guys how desperate they are, right? Because who among their nominees do they really think is going to beat Donald Trump? I mean, come on. These people are so sad. I mean, we talked about Sleepy Joe, 30330, bless his heart. And I don't know what that means, right? Okay? Bless his heart. Then we got Bernie Sanders, a socialist. Elizabeth Warren, who my father-in-law affectionately refers to as Pocahontas. She really held Bloomberg's feet to the fire, though, in that last debate, didn't she? Bloomberg, with all of his money he's spending, thinks he can buy his way to the Democrat nomination, yet he could barely string together a coherent sentence on stage to make himself look good last week. So it's not looking good for him either. I mean, the whole lot of them. Really, what is their platform? What are they running on? I'll tell you what it is, to beat Donald Trump. And unfortunately for them, that's not what America wants. Guess what America wants? The over 7 million new jobs that this president created, right? America wants somebody leveling the playing field when it comes to trade. Finally, things that should have been done decades ago. America wants somebody that's sticking up for the religious freedom in this country, right? We want our shot at the American dream. How about putting America first? How about the fact that we are finally an energy independent country? We don't need anybody else anymore. Every president before him said they would do it. It took Donald Trump to finally move the American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. People care about their life. They care about the fact that they have a better job now than they had 4 years ago. They care about the fact that this country is more prosperous every day. The future for their children looks brighter every single day. But the Democrats are running to beat Donald Trump. It's really sad what has happened out there. And you see how nasty things have gotten. Right? People are scared, actually, to come out and say they support this president, because you saw a couple of weeks ago in Florida, there was a Trump tent registering voters. Some guy ran his car into it. New Hampshire, there was a 15-year-old kid who was assaulted for wearing a MAGA hat. And let me tell you guys something. Right now, we are at a very important crossroads in the history of this country. There have only been a few times in this history that I think are as important as this one. We have to send a resounding message out there to the mainstream media, to the establishment out there, this is our country. If we want to support Donald Trump, we should be able to go out and wear a hat, put a bumper sticker on our car, put a yard sign in our yard. This is the United States of America, okay? It's not like what we see happening. And I always say this, but listen, I never expected to end up here. I mean, I grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina. I went to Laney High School, home of Michael Jordan, if anybody's ever heard of it. Yep, maybe you guys are Hoggard fans. It's okay, that's another school in Wilmington. Went to NC State, a proud graduate of NC State, and if you would have told me 12 years ago when I moved to New York that I would ever be, let alone just part of the Trump family, okay, I would have said, okay, I think you're a little crazy. But part of the first family, out as part of the president's campaign, I would have said there's no chance. But this is so important. As you just heard, I have 2 kids. I have my 6-month-old daughter, Carolina, and a 2.5-year-old son, Luke. And whenever I think back to 2016, I knew that if people gave my father-in-law a shot, he would be such a great leader. He would do such a great job as our president. What do you guys think? Did he do okay so far? But now, as a mother, being a parent changes things for you. And I would love to spend all my time at home with my kids because everybody here who's got kids knows they grow up fast. But there is nothing more important to me than making sure this country is headed in the right direction for them, for generations to come, because this country is the greatest country in the history of the world, right? It's worth fighting for every single day. So we're putting a lot of miles in on airlines. We're traveling all across this country. And just so you guys know, my husband and I almost never campaigned together. We never get to do any of this together. For about 3 months in 2016, we almost never saw each other. Our dogs were so mad at us. They basically were like, they've left us. I don't know what's happening. But I knew if people gave him a chance, he would do great things for this country. And I know that if we give him 4 more years, think about the possibility. And when we take back the House, think about how much more we can get accomplished. It's really amazing to see the Democrats out there. And don't want to keep bringing her up, but old Nancy gives us a lot of material, doesn't she, Nancy? She and her Democrat colleagues couldn't be bothered to stand during the State of the Union address for a Tuskegee Airman and his grandson, for a little girl getting a scholarship to a school of her choice, for a service member returning home from war to his family, and then she had the audacity to tear up the State of the Union address. Now, I don't know who told these Democrats to start digging this hole deeper. I thought it was deep enough. They can't help themselves. But that's how crazy they're getting, because they know what we know in this room, that Donald Trump is about to win 4 more years, right? They know none of their candidates can beat him. And I don't want to suggest that anybody would do anything like this, but we have to make sure Donald Trump wins by such a huge margin that they cannot argue with the results of this election. They can't throw Russian collusion back at him or any of us. This election, we gotta win by the biggest margin in the history of this country, okay? That's why everybody in this room is important. And here's something to look forward to. If you thought it was fun on November 8th, 2016, watching the media, and I'll tell you, CNN was like a dream to watch. They were melting down, they were crying. If you thought that was good the first time around, think about how much better it's going to be a second time. Such a great thing to look forward to, right? I can't wait. But guys, this isn't about Donald Trump. It's never been about him. It's not about our family. It's about this country. This country matters so much, and we're so blessed to be Americans. It's about the future, and I'm honored every single day that I get to travel across this country, come back to North Carolina every now and again, but to tell people why we have to get focused and spend every single day, now until November 3rd, fighting for this president and fighting for our country. It is the most important thing that we could do. And there's one other thing I want to share with you guys. Everywhere that I went in 2016, I heard the same thing, literally every stop I made. And it started to really resonate with me, something was going on. Everywhere I went, people would say, we're praying for you, we're praying for your family, we're praying for Donald Trump. God was a part of this election, folks. Make no mistake about it. God is guiding the president every day. He's in this one with us right now. It is so important. And listen, I can't thank you guys enough for the incredible support. Thank you for believing in my father-in-law and seeing the vision he had for this country. There is so much more to come. How great is this over in India? Not a bad trip to India, right? Everybody else, our incredible First Lady, how great is she? Shouldn't she be on the cover of every magazine out there? So amazing, Melania. You know what? She won't get credit for it right now. The president won't get credit. But I guarantee you, when history reflects back on this presidency and on the First Lady, they are going down, and the president is going down as one of the greatest presidents in the history of this country, right? But we have to keep fighting every single day. Now, we got Super Tuesday coming up. Anybody excited for that? All right, you guys have seen how it's been going out there in the primaries and caucuses. Donald Trump is getting more votes in these primaries and caucuses than any president in the past, right? So we got to keep that going right here in North Carolina, because we got to send a message, folks, that Donald Trump is winning this state. North Carolina is staying red, right? They're keeping it here. Y'all know we have the convention coming up. I may have put a bug in someone's ear that we needed the convention in the state of North Carolina. So it'll be here in Charlotte in August. So you guys are going to have Trumps coming out of your ears. It's just going to be nonstop. I hope you're not tired of us yet. But really, thank you. You know, I do this a lot, but nothing is as special as coming back here to my home state, to a place where I'm so comfortable. And I love this state, and I love being back here. But I really want to say thank you guys for supporting this president. Thank you for fighting every day. Thank you for standing up for him. I know they don't make it easy for us, but it's the most important thing that we could all do. So from now until November 3rd, nobody's resting. If I'm out there not sleeping and traveling around, you know, when I get home, I got kids crawling all over me, dogs, the whole thing. We all have to fight. This election is so, so important. We cannot risk having a socialist in the White House. What that would mean for this country would be absolutely devastating. We're going to have 4 more years of Donald Trump. Maybe we should say 8, just to really get everybody upset, right? The media loves that. But this is something that means the world to all of us to have the support of, especially my home state, but all of you. So keep fighting until Election Day, and then you know we're going to keep fighting after that, because we got to keep things red up in Washington, D.C., make sure that they hear loud and clear what the American people have to say. Thank you guys for having me here, and thank you again for supporting this president. It's been an honor.